And breaking tonight, just days before President Obama delivers his State of the Union address, brand new polling shows both the president and his agenda are in big trouble with the American people. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. The poll trouble started this morning. Quinnipiac University poll finding that among 4 of voters' top 5 priorities, President Obama is getting historically low grades. On the economy, 56% disapprove of the job he's doing. On health care, arguably his central focus, 59% of the people disapprove of how he's handling it. On foreign policy, on his handling of Iran, more voters disapprove than approve of the job he's done. The only thing he's getting decent marks on is handling terrorism. Considering all these numbers, it may be no surprise that when Americans were asked, do you think the Obama administration has been competent in running the government, a clear majority, 53%, say, no, we do not. And tonight we have just released Fox News polling with possibly the clearest sign of falling approval for the president and his agenda. Tonight, less than 1/3 of all Americans say they like the president and his policies. Look at that. That is down 15 percentage points in just 14 months, and there's more. Mark Thiessen is a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush, a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and a Washington Post columnist. Mark, those are pretty devastating numbers for the president.
Yeah, those are pretty devastating numbers going into his State of the Union address next week. And look, if you look at the numbers, it's 4.5 years now since the recession officially ended. 3/4 of the American people believe we're still in recession. That is a remarkable number. And you showed the numbers on the 2 top priorities Americans have, the economy and health care. His numbers are upside down. So that's a real big problem for the president going into his State of the Union address. But it's not his biggest problem. His biggest problem is that Americans don't trust him anymore. Gallup found last November that the majority of Americans say that President Obama is no longer honest or trustworthy. The majority of Americans believe that he lied to us when he said you can keep your health plan. And so that's devastating for him for the State of the Union address, because when people don't trust you anymore, they tune you out. If they think you're honest or trustworthy, they'll give you the benefit of the doubt. They'll listen to what you have to say. But when you lose that bond of trust because people think you lied to them, it's very hard to turn that around. And that's what he's facing next week.
The numbers on the economy, which are, he is reportedly going to make the focus of the State of the Union. You've got less than 1/3 who believe that his policies have helped this country, Mark. Less than 1/3 believe that. And now we have, a liberal president who has been arguing all along big government policies. And the question is, with less than 1/3 of the country believing that he has helped the economy, whether there is any road forward for left-leaning politicians like this current president and big government agendas.
Well, there's 2 problems. One, there's a Gallup poll out tonight also, which shows that 2/3 of the country not only don't like the direction that we're going as a country, but they believe that government is too big and too powerful. So the problem he has going into his speech next week is that all the solutions he's going to propose to these problems are more government. And that is exactly the opposite of what Americans want. Americans, since he took office, the number of people saying government is the biggest threat to the country has gone through the roof. So his solutions are out of touch. One, people aren't listening because they don't trust him. And 2, his solutions are out of touch with what the American people want in terms of policy changes.
And on that front, the biggest expansion of government we've seen under this president is of course, Obamacare.
Sure.
And we had major news on that today, both with Target announcing that its part-time employees will no longer be getting health care from their employer. So employer-based health care is now starting to be affected. And Aetna making threats about whether it's going to have an ongoing participation in Obamacare.
Yeah, so this is why this is bad for President Obama. So Americans don't trust him. They believe he lied to them when he said you can keep your health plan. And now, okay, the individual people, market people have lost their plans. They think it's behind them, but it's not, because there's a second wave of cancellations coming up. All the people in the employer-based plans, the people in small businesses and large businesses like Target, are going to start having their plans changed, and it's going to be even bigger than the number of people who lost plans in the individual market.
But the news tonight is it started to happen. It's happening.
It started happening already, and what you've seen with Target, with Trader Joe's, and some of these other large companies, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, once Target starts pushing people off into Obama, canceling plans, other big businesses are going to do the same. And then you've got these small businesses that found a loophole last year that allowed them to avoid the mandates under Obamacare for a year. That's going to expire at the end of this year. So come October, you're going to have millions and millions of people getting cancellation notices from their employer-based plans. And so the lie is still in front of the voters right as we go into the November midterm election. So it's a big problem.
They denied it. You predicted this. Others predicted this as well, that it was going to start happening, in particular part-time employees. They denied it would happen. It's already happening. It could be tens of thousands at Target. We don't know the exact numbers, but people are getting booted off of their employer-based health care and essentially will be forced to go onto healthcare.gov if they want coverage. Mark, thank you.